Yeah, so Lost, the section Lost was, well, we wrote a lot of songs that were kind of not really songs that should have been on a Fearless Vampire Killers album. A lot of them were quite melancholic,
quite mellow
odd
in every
sounding,
way. Yeah.
mellow, odd, but they kind of had a very specific vibe, and I think they explored things that we hadn't explored before. The intro's all spacey and weird and echoey, and then when my voice comes in, it's really, really crisp, and it kind of hits you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With that chord, yeah, it just hits you out of nowhere.
Instant shivers down the spine.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm a great singer. What can you say?
Or if you can't say anything more.
No, you can't say anything. No. An original singer. Certain texture to my voice that no one else has. Some people say it's bad.
And we were just talking about this. We're not actually in it very much.
No.
I mean, although
they needed drums, but not me apparently.
Obviously, the previous songs had some of the electronic influence already, but we wanted to kind of up that in this song and do something really weird.
And originally we had these kind of like programmed drums on it, and I was kind of like,
And then what happened is when we went into mixing with James Billings, he then even brought more ridiculous.
Sort of some trap to it.
Yeah, some trap.
going with this really quirky sort of thing, and it opens the second part of the album, the second quarter of the album, and it kind of again sets the tone for what that part's going to be.
I came up with the lyrics, but I was running through Finsbury Park, and I just was thinking over and over again, our nature's unnatural, someone's got to come up with that.
This is probably one of the most changed songs really, and saying that Will had a lot of a kind of part in.
Punk verses we never thought of.
Yeah, totally. It was going to be much more sort of Muse-esque, wasn't it? It was going to be a bit more sort of like kind of like tribally sort of drums almost, like off kilter stuff. And then Will was just like, nah, fuck that.
Our Nature's Unnatural is definitely one of my favourite songs on the album.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
think it's got one of the best choruses we've ever done.
Yeah.
And it's got, in a way that sometimes you love a song but you don't feel the kind of timelessness to it.
Yeah.
Even though you love it, but that one is like, I knew from the chorus that it was definitely kind of had that classic feel.
Yeah.
The chorus sounds sonically the best on the album because I think we got the vocals right, like the mix of vocals and like the way they're kind of like the low harmonies, high harmonies work, and it just all, for me, fit together really well because like it hits in and all these fucking harmonies come in and whatnot.
Perfect song for big harmonies.
It is, and it just kind of, it almost feels like bells are ringing or something. It's kind of like someone's getting married. We're all getting married.
Yeah.
Right, so this one was an interesting one. I remember getting this and thinking, what, Drew? Like, this is Drew's like indulging 90s wise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
When I got the demo, I thought, what is this? Like,
The song basically came with like this programmed drum beat underneath. Like, and I thought it was a joke.
and it was just this weird kind of psychedelic sort of, it almost sounded like something that Stone Roses would come out with. But then when we started getting it together and sort of thickening it, and brought in sort of solos and stuff.
Like, you know, we had these like this ridiculous double solo at the end where Drew did half of it and Shane did half of it, and we kind of had this little section. No one probably know, but the last section of the song is almost a solo off.
And it's one of my favourite songs to listen to now, because it doesn't attack you that much, like there's space in it. It doesn't just blast a load of noise into your ear. But it's nice with this album that there's these breaks, you know, you can relax for a bit, and then you've got 4 songs in quick succession blasting your ears in, and then you can relax a little bit, and then you've got the same thing.
What's next up, Barone?
Brave the Night.
Brave the Night. Fucking hell, how long have you got? How long have you got?
And then there's Brave the Night, which me and Drew had little to do with other. Drew obviously did a lot of the backing stuff in there.
So Luke
Basically,
wrote this one.
I sort of wrote this. I was just kind of mucking around on the piano for a few days, and I come up with all these different little things. Didn't just kind of mucking around, not really doing anything. And then I think I just twigged that they were in the same key. So I thought, I wonder if we could get them to go together.
As Keir will probably say, it sounds incredibly Disney.
Yeah.
It's definitely massively theatrical and kind of doesn't care that it's a bit, you know, it's kind of soppy. It revels in its soppiness.
I remember one day me and Lawrence had a huge bust up the day that I wrote the lyrics to that song.
Oh really?
Yeah, remember that the day that, I don't remember, there was one day in the studio where I just like fucking lost my shit. I had a bit of a tantrum, as is the case, because the stress was getting to me towards the end, and I just like, me and Lawrence had this massive shouting match. And I was like, oh god, I can't take this, I'm going to leave. And I walked, and like, it's quite, you know, it's pretty classic. I did my classic walk around the sort of countryside, and wrote at least half of the lyrics to that
Right.
song.